Hi, friends. Let's see. I probably can't see what you guys are saying to me. Let me see if I can open it up on my phone. I'm Amanda of Amanda Creek Creative, if you don't know me. And I came on yesterday. I was challenged by April Bowles Olin of Blacksburg Bell to start doing this like all the time. And it's a little nerve-wracking to me because I'm kind of shy, but I'm trying to do this so that I can teach you guys things that are maybe important that you don't know. So today I'm going to talk about where you should use textures and patterns when it comes to your branding. So I'm going to share my screen because that's easiest for me to just show you things. So I'm going to share my screen now and hopefully this will work. I think it's working. And I'm going to talk about wedding cakes because, first of all, cake. Second of all, I think it'll help maybe as an illustration for what I want to talk about. So these are some pictures that I've taken. I was a wedding photographer before, and before I was a web designer. And so I don't know why I was thinking about cake, I guess. And I thought, let's use this as an illustration. I think it'll be a good idea. So I decided to get some of my pictures together and to show you. So what I want to talk about is how texture can add this element, this depth to your branding that if you don't have texture, it kind of makes it all the same. So that's the first thing I want to talk about. And then I want to talk about where you can add the texture and how you can add the texture. So first of all, I have these different, oops, let me click on this thing so it doesn't make the dinging noise. I wanted to go through these different pictures. Let's see if this will work now. So these cakes, this is the same cake. These cake, they have texture and they have elements that are added. So if you look here, they've got the minion, little bride and groom at the top. They have these flowers that are created out of newspaper. And then there's texture actually on the cake. So if you look at these and then you look at this one, it's a completely different feel. It's a completely different altogether feel where they have similar texture on the cake, and then they have these pearls that are going around and the C on the top. And then where are my other pictures? Are they not in here? Well, I'm just going to show you two examples today. So if we strip this stuff away from the cake, if we take away the minions, we take away the flowers, we take away the texture that's on the side of the cake, and we look at both cakes, we have the same cake. It's pretty much the same. I mean, like maybe not to a T, but pretty much the same cake. And when you're thinking about branding and adding these elements to whatever it may be, your social media, to your logo, to your web design, whatever it may be, when you're adding these elements, it's what makes the cake different. It's what makes your branding different. So I know that probably the inside of the cake is different. It probably tastes different, but we don't know that by just looking at it. And that's the thing, is that when people are coming to you and they're wanting to know more about you, who you are as a brand, they're looking for that element of different, and they're looking to see if you're the right flavor to be a little cheesy for them. So if they can't see that stuff on the surface, on the outside, then they're going to be like, I don't know why I need to go to this person. I don't know what makes them different. And so I think that these things, such as texture, that is something, or pattern, those are things that you can use that will bring that element out. And it's something that you don't even have to say. You could say it, but a lot of people are visual, and the first thing they're going to do when they come to your website or they see your social media, they're going to judge you by those things that are instant, your colors, your patterns that you're using, the textures that you're using, your logo, if your photos are beautiful or not. They're going to judge you by those things in like an instant. And then if they like what they see, they may stay and they may actually read your context that you have there on the page. So let's look at, I made up, whoops, we don't need that page. Let's see. I made up over here some pins on a Pinterest board that's textures and branding. And hopefully you can see this. I can't tell. So hopefully you're seeing the same thing that I'm seeing right now. And I added this. You can see it yourself if you go to Pinterest and you look for Creek Creative. That's me. And then the board is called Textures and Branding. And I put on this board some different things that I felt had some texture so you could see it in context. And the thing is that the texture can come out through anything. For instance, here is a business card, actually. It maybe doesn't look like a business card, but it is. And it's a really unique way for a dermatologist to show who they are in a business card form. And they're using the texture of the actual cotton thing that you clean your face with. And so I thought that was a really unique way to use texture to show people like this is what I'm about. And it adds a fun element and kind of a little bit more of interest than if they just handed them a white business card with the same information. Here's another one that I thought was really lovely. They're using a pattern and it's showing that, yes, they're a seamstress, but it's also showing more than that, but with the color. And then it's an illustrated kind of look. And that makes it more interesting than if they were just, again, to use the logo on a blank white card with no type of pattern. So that's what you can see in terms of like a business card. If I were to look at a logo, here's a logo that I found. Oops, sorry. All right, this one is a watercolor logo. And so they're using the watercolor in the background to kind of give you some context that it's fine art prints. So it makes sense. If you look at this logo, this is also a watercolor one. And it says, for a paper company, I guess, papery. So it gives you a little bit of that element of texture. If we look at other business cards here, you can see that they're using the physical item to add that texture. So it doesn't have to always be that you're adding texture in a way of like just adding a wood grain background. You could actually do it in this way. If it's a printed material, you can actually have it, I guess this would be like embossed or something. I'm really not sure because that's not my skill set, but you can see that they're using texture here in a different way, just like the business card that I showed you for the dermatologist. Here, this is another business card where this is a wood grain texture, and they're using it as an element here for visual interest. So it's not that the whole background, I mean, it is because it's on this brown cardstock, but also they have it as a visual element here. So I invite you to look through these different things that I've pinned here today. They all have something different that there's some sort of texture or pattern that makes it interesting. And I would want you to look and to see, like, if you looked at this and you took away this element of it being that brown type of paper, would this be the same feeling that you would get from this particular brand? Would you have that same feeling? If you took it all away and it was just on white paper, you wouldn't have the same feel. And to think about, how can I apply that to my own branding? What can I do to bring in that element of texture, to bring in that element of pattern, and to make my own brand more interesting? And let me know in the comments how that works out. If you would like to join the Brand Personality Challenge, I have it over here. It's brandvisionboard.com. Pretty easy to remember, hopefully. And you can join. It's a 7-day challenge, and you can work through some more activities like this one. So I hope this has been helpful, and I'll see you guys hopefully tomorrow. All right.